Halo Top is ice cream's biggest game changer. I got some in the freezer right now because my wife loves it. This is not one of these things where they give me the free product so I can endorse it. We eat this on the regular in my household as it is. With Halo Top, you can enjoy all the flavor and deliciousness of ice cream without all the guilt. Halo Top has less than 360 calories per pint, but it's still delicious and creamy, just like ice cream should be. Halo Top is packed with 20 grams of protein per pint. They have over 20 incredible flavors to choose from, like vanilla bean, cinnamon roll, pancakes and waffles. Pancakes and waffles flavored ice cream that's healthier than regular ice cream. Finally, you can stop avoiding ice cream. Enjoy Halo Top. It is delicious. I eat it all the time. Halo Top's available nationwide. Find your pint at halotop.com. Follow them on social media at Halo Top Creamery, halotop.com. Very happy, guys, to be telling you about one of my favorite shows on Earwolf, and even more so, the host is one of my favorite people. I can say this, a creative muse, an ally of mine, a comedian who I link up with all the time, one of my best friends in this world, Joe Firestone. If you've ever wanted to test your skills on a game show, you should be listening to Dr. Game Show on Earwolf. In each episode, my friend Joe Firestone, my friend Manolo Moreno, they play listener-created games with comedian guests and live call-ins. Games are hilarious, creative, totally unpredictable. Plus, some of your favorite Earwolf hosts have been on the show, like me. First of all, like me. Okay? Not to mention people like Lauren Lapkus and Michael Ian Black, Gilbert Godfrey, guys from Hello from the Magic Tavern. Check out new episodes of Dr. Game Show every Wednesday wherever you listen. Joe Firestone is a sweetheart and a comedic genius and one of my best friends. Check it out. Hello to everyone who's ever been underwhelmed by Mount Rushmore. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, 1 phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hello, everybody. It's Chris Gethard. Welcome to another episode of Beautiful Anonymous. So happy to have you here. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for allowing me to do this job, because it's just about the best job a guy could ever ask for. Talking to all you nice people about your lives and your concerns and your thoughts about being a human in this world today. I want to thank everybody. I mentioned last week that I was about to do a show at the in New York through the Comedy Cellar. You guys sold that one out. So nice of you. I got 2 shows in Philly on July 17th. Those sold out before I came in and announced them. Thank you guys for that. So I wanted to give some heads up, some warning. Washington, D.C., July 20th. You can find tickets for that one out there. And Montreal, I'm excited. Montreal, Canada, baby. 26th, 27th, 28th. I'm doing a bunch of stand-up, and I'm doing a live taping of Beautiful Anonymous. Jared's coming with me. Jared's never come on the road before. We're going to take Montreal by storm. We're going to party hard. We're going to do a taping and party hard. I do not party hard on the road. I know most comedians, I think, would probably make fun of me for my notorious lack of partying on the road. But anyway, Montreal, Canada, Washington, D.C. Tickets still available. I'm going to be plugging those throughout the month. It's so nice to meet you guys. So nice to meet you guys when you guys come on out. Last week's episode, we had the 39-year-old grandma. I got to tell you, that was a beloved call. A lot of people saying it's one of their favorites. A lot of people in Beautiful Anonymous, the community on Facebook, saying that it's right up there. A lot of people actually saying this one and the Aussie Best Friend are the 2 nicest, most fun to listen to. A lot of people comparing those together, which warms my heart. Here's some feedback that I really liked because it has a phrase at the end that really made me smile. This is from someone named, a very interesting name, Marigny. Marigny, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I apologize for my ignorance. This call made me laugh and cry. Thanks to the caller for sharing your story. I was born the same month and year, and if my life had thrown me all those curveballs, I'm not sure I could have handled them with the same determination and grace. I want to be this caller's friend too. Your vibe attracts your tribe, as they say. I feel like that could be the whole credo to this podcast right here. Your vibe attracts your tribe, baby. You're about to hear a call that I'm going to go ahead and tell you means a lot to me, means a lot to us here at Beautiful Anonymous, and you'll see why. You see why on a few different levels, why I connect with it and other people do. I connect with it because I love a conversation with people. I love hearing from people who especially are coming to grips with who they are. I've taken great joy in that in many ways. Some people are artists. Some people are looking for life changes. Other people, like our caller today, have maybe had some things that they knew deep down were true, and they haven't been totally ready to admit them. And it is hugely flattering and an honor that today's caller was willing to speak openly about his truth with me. I say that so genuinely that that's not an easy conversation to tell somebody, hey, I've had feelings for a while that I haven't told people about. I'm telling you. What a huge honor and a flattering thing to have someone feel that safe with this show. Makes me proud of what we built here. But I'm most proud of our caller. Most proud of our caller, as you guys can surmise. It's a caller who, sorting out some aspects of his sexuality, is ready to let the world know, hasn't done so yet. It's giving us a glimpse. I would almost say, I'm not trying to be overly poetic here, but it's almost sort of like, hey, this call right now is like the first crack of light that I'm letting in through the closet door. And what an amazing thing. I think if you're out there and you're someone who is sorting out your own feelings, I think this call is going to make you feel a little less alone. That is a hope of mine. If you're someone out there who is a parent or a brother or sister or friend of someone, I think you're going to hear a very interesting perspective from someone who's thought long and hard and in a very mature way about, I have to tell some people in my life about this. Here's the fears about the reactions. It's going to help guide your reactions. If you have someone in your life who you think might be coming towards this conversation with you, you want to be supportive. You want to make them feel cared for and loved and safe, and this is going to be eye-opening for you. Most of all, as always, we get a glimpse into someone else's life. And I've said it so many times on this podcast, I'll say it again right now. Love is love. People are people. Everybody's just trying to figure out how to be who they are in a real way and in an honest way and in the best way. And I think the most beautiful, mind-blowing thing about this call is that it's not mind-blowing at all. It's a regular chat with a guy. It's not dramatic because it shouldn't be. This person's coming to terms with who he is. That should be the least dramatic thing in the world. And I'm so glad that this call is just sort of chit-chatty because it tells you that we're finally living in a world where being comfortable also means being safe and being who you are. I'm proud of it, and I hope you like it. Enjoy.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going, Chris?
How's it going? Well, I tell you, it's a little cliche to say it, but it's quite hot, and I'm quite tired.
Yes.
Yeah, you're in that part of the world too, where it's just super hot all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's for a person who loves summertime, this is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. For a person who doesn't particularly love summertime, it's even more ridiculous. I drove yesterday for about 7 hours total in a car with no air conditioning. So I'm done.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm done. Anyway, how are you doing?
I'm good. You said something about, like, you just drove. I just recently got done with a trip out west, and we decided to make a stop at Mount Rushmore on our way out there, and we happened to stop on the day it was like 105 degrees, and everybody there was just like, oh, it was 70 last night. And me and my friends were like, of course we would stop on the one day. They were like, yeah, it's a record breaker. It hasn't been this hot since like 2006 or something like that. Wow. And so we were like, of course, we brought the weather with us all the way out west.
Now, how is Mount Rushmore? I've driven cross country a number of times. Never made it up that way. Never saw Mount Rushmore. How is it? I feel like it's one of those things that it might be meaningful to see, or you might get out there, look at it, and be like, yeah, I've seen pictures of this. I
kind of feel bad for saying it. I was underwhelmed a little bit. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, the heat was already just kind of putting a damper on the mood. But, it was like a last-minute stop because we were actually driving out to Montana, and, that was a 29-hour drive. So we were like, we probably need to make a rest stop somewhere, and none of us had been to Mount Rushmore before. So we got there, kind of small, I thought, but it was really good to see for the first time because you see, going through school, you see in all these pictures and in your history books, and I don't know, I expected it to be a whole lot bigger than it was, and yeah, it was just kind of one of those things. Yep, seen it. Next.
Yeah. Had a feeling. I never quite prioritized that one. I'll see it someday. I like the Grand Canyon, though. That one lives up to the hype. You ever been there?
No, that's hopefully coming soon on my road trip list once I get that going.
I've been there twice. It's better than you think. The photos and the movies can't quite capture what they got out there. That's a really overwhelming experience. Well worth it.
Have you seen National Lampoon's Vacation?
I have.
Like with Chevy Chase.
Wally World, baby.
I just always remember that one scene where, they're trying to get there and they stop at the Grand Canyon real quick and he's holding Ellen. He's like, yep, we're good. All right, back in the car.
The first time I went to the Grand Canyon, there's a highway that gets up there. You're on like this real big road and then you take this highway and you go up and it's kind of like just a little spur. Like you go straight up and then you're supposed to go straight back down to the highway. My buddy and I, we were like, we already saw that highway. Let's go out this back way we see on the map. Now, this was back in the day when you actually looked at physical maps. Like, we had atlases and maps.
Oh, gosh.
And we were real dumb. I'm from New Jersey. He's from Queens. And it was a dotted line. There was a dotted line that seemed to lead us back towards where we were going. I think we were headed towards Texas. And we were like, that's heading east. That's in the right direction. Didn't look up what a dotted line meant on the map. Turned out that it was largely a dirt road, and we were out there for hours. And it was on Native American land. And man, it was grim. It was grim. I was like, wow, we really...
I didn't know that's what that meant on the map either. It's good to know.
At least on this map, it meant it was not a very fully functioning road. And it was, I was driving around back there. I was like, oh my God, this might be where I die. This might be where I die. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize. We're still this is the land that we gave the Native Americans. This is wow, we're still screwing these guys over. But I'll get off
we
the
had something similar in Montana happen. I guess like the way they do highway construction out there, they do like, how I don't know where I'm at. It's typically they do one lane at a time, but out in Montana they'll do like a whole mile both sides of traffic. So we were just driving, following Google Maps, and then it's boom, dirt road, or just dirt, and we're just going and going and going. And I'm like, well, we'll just follow the Google Maps person. They seem to know what they're doing.
But at least you can drive 150 miles on the dirt road out there, right? Montana, there's no laws. Isn't that the thing about Montana? It's like that movie. What's that movie, The Purge? Is that the movie with no laws, Harry? Can we look this up? Where you get a night where you're allowed to kill people? Isn't that just how Montana is?
But with their speed limits, I was very shocked when we finally passed one speed limit sign, and it was like 80.
Yeah.
And,
but aren't there speed limit signs?
About 70.
Yeah, mine are 55 and 65. But aren't there speed limit signs? Don't they even just say them like 80? But we don't care. Like, isn't that also just written on their speed line? It's your speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In some places, those signs just, regular signs just don't exist. So you don't see anybody for 300 miles. So you just hope for the best.
Look at that. Me and you talking about the realities, about the American ideal versus the American reality that you see out there on the open roads.
Yeah.
Now, I can't imagine this is why you reached out to Beautiful Anonymous.
No, it isn't. I've been a huge fan of the show for a very long time. That when you guys first, came out with the podcast, a friend had told me about it. And I was like, yeah, all right, I'll give it a try. And, fell in love with it, from episode 1. And I've been listening, ever since. And, it's awesome what you're doing and how everybody can call in and share their stories. It's a really special thing.
I'm lucky to be able to do it. And I'm glad to hear that you had a mild at best enthusiasm when your friend described it to you, and then we got you hooked. I like that you were like, okay, I'll check it out. And now you've been listening to a couple of years of these things.
Yeah, the one episode I remember that really hooked me from the beginning was, I forget the exact title of it, but it was Floating in a Cardboard Boat, I believe is what it was.
The first live one we ever did.
And that was the one that got me.
Well, I'm always happy to yell at discontent Canadians. Everybody knows that about me. Everybody knows that if you're a restless Canadian, I'll set you straight. Not true. I love Canada. Love Canada. Don't know when this is airing, but I'm going up to the Montreal Just for Laughs and the Toronto Just for Laughs this year, and I couldn't be more psyched because
Nice.
Yeah, those Canadian comedy audiences have been very kind to me. So I love Canada. Before I start any
I'll
trouble.
be in Canada in about 3 weeks, so...
Oh. We might be up there. You might be up there at the same time as the Beautiful Anonymous live taping in Montreal.
Oh, crazy. That'd be a fun little stop on the way
Look at that.
to drive around.
What do? You just drive around all the time?
More so I'm only 25, so I'm not that old, but I try to make it to be a road dog as much as I can,
You gotta be.
when I get the chance.
You gotta be. I love road trips. I'm on record. I've talked about it on the show before, I'm sure. I love a good road trip. You find your soul out on the road.
Yes. But no, my buddy's got like a cabin up there that we just go up and kind of stay for about a week up there. It's up on the Georgian Bay, just nice secluded area on the water. Just a good place to get away.
Sounds awful nice. So what are we talking about today?
Well, so called in and I was just like, all right, kind of at a point in my life to where, 25, things are kind of settling into place. And when I was actually up in Canada about a year ago and I turned 25 because I was there for my birthday, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make some big changes in my life. I'm a pretty outgoing person, I like to think, and I try to, I like to push people in both my personal life with my friends, help them do their best, and with my jobs I have. And, sometimes I think I sometimes teach people that, being honest with yourself, is very important, and sometimes I don't follow that in my own way. So when I turned 25, I was like, all right, I'm going to use this year, and this is the year I think I'm going to come out of the closet.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah.
Wow. How's that been going?
Well, we are almost at the year mark. And so, sorry, it hasn't happened yet, but I have been, really fighting some internal demons with myself to be like, all right, you got till the end of July to do this thing. So, I've been trying to get on the show here, a few times, and it hasn't worked. And then, because I always just kind of said, I don't know what I'll ever talk about if I ever do get on. And then, in this last year, I was just like, you know what? I think if I get on, I think this is going to be a really big, step for me.
Wow.
In that direction, for sure.
Well, first thing I'll say is that I got your back. Simple as that.
Person doesn't hear that enough.
Just in a very simple way, I do. I got to tell you, you listen to the show, I live in New York City, and I'm around all kinds of people, all kinds of time, all the time, and you got nothing to worry about from me. Couldn't be anything but more excited for you to embrace who you are and live what you're feeling on the inside. I think that's one of the best things that everybody can do for themselves, no matter what it is they're embracing about themselves.
Well, thank you. And I've been just, it's obviously, growing up, because it's just one of those things to where, I'm sure there's more people, in my situation than what I think there are, because sometimes it can feel kind of lonely and you don't think that people can understand what you're going through. And then at least in my life, there's times where, you think you're close to just doing it, and then something happens and you kind of just, for lack of better terms, get further in the closet.
Sure.
It's hard to push through all that stuff to get out to the door.
Yeah. So when did you sort of come out to yourself? Because that's something to be proud of right there. And we also just wrapped up Pride Month, I believe, right?
We did.
Yeah. So you're
and of course, that got me reflecting. Every year, reflection happens around that time.
I would imagine.
I mean, I wouldn't say, some people are like, I knew I was gay from when I was 5, or, it happened here, it happened there. It really wasn't, I don't know if it was just like one moment, but like many moments that happened. I mean, I'd say towards the end of high school, it kind of just, the thoughts were kind of there, because I wasn't raised super religious by any means, but, I went to church and got confirmed and, was taught the ways, of the book and how, sinners, blah, blah, blah. And so I kind of took it very seriously. But then towards the end of high school, I definitely became a more open-minded person. Was like, people can love who they love. I believe the summer before I graduated high school, I actually went over with my German club and traveled. We went around Europe a little bit, and that really opened my eyes and new culture, new people. And I think that was a big moment to where, my life changed drastically from that perspective. And then college happened, and then even more life experience followed from that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And have you, I don't know, okay, let me put this out here, because we got 45 minutes, we got a long time to talk. A lot of times, I just start asking a bunch of questions. But those tend to be calls, I think, where people have really lived with stuff that that they're on the other side of maybe, or have experiencing more publicly. I don't want to ask any questions to pry anything out of you, because that's not what this process should be. But I do have questions, but you should let me know what you want this to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I can, that's the thing with me. I can talk and talk and talk. And I told myself, if I ever got on the show, I'm going to use it how I use it. So, I'm a pretty open book in this aspect, and that's the point of the show, to just be, to reveal yourself. And hopefully if there's somebody else out there, in my shoes, I think they would want me to answer as much as I can. So I'm definitely going to try to answer any questions you have. And hopefully they might prompt me to think or act in this current situation, because I'm just kind of in the middle of it.
Okay, so have you come out to anyone? That's one of my first questions. Is this the first conversation where you're just talking about this out loud casually with another human being, or have you had?
Yes,
this is the first time. I'm flattered.
This is the first.
I'm flattered and I'm honored. I'll let you know that you would feel comfortable and safe with me. That makes me feel good, and I will not betray that trust.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you can be the first person.
Well, it's a lot of responsibility to talk with a stranger who to my knowledge, I've never met in person about something this intense. But I'm very flattered and happy that I have created a forum where you feel safe. So I want to celebrate that. I think that's awesome. Well done.
Thank you.
I wonder if is it weird for you to hear yourself say that out loud? I would have to imagine.
It is. I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm bizarre in that aspect anyway. So, of course, in my mind, I was like, why not? This is the perfect time to do it. And I was like, why not Chris Gethard?
I'll take it. Why not Chris? I get that. People from all walks of life are like, I guess this guy. Yes, this guy I'll talk to. Okay, so here's another question. Just one that jumps to mind. I hope I'm not crossing any lines. If I am, always call me out on it, especially this call.
Okay.
So you mentioned that you started realizing this in high school, in college. These are the stretches of life where a person would traditionally experiment, would maybe get to know themselves, the whole culture of hooking up in college. Have you explored this side of yourself kind of quietly in private with anyone, or are these unacted upon feelings?
Definitely private. So definitely have. And I mean, I'd say it probably was my second semester as a freshman in college is when it actually, something happened where I was like, oh, these feelings actually might mean something, let's check this out. And then, from there, it kind of went on and off.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that was the end. Sorry about that.
Oh, sorry.
So you're kind of figuring them out.
There's more. But I'll let you ask.
So there were stretches where you'd feel attracted to men. There's stretches where you weren't sure what was going on. There's stretches where you just kind of were rolling with it, and it was kind of varying. Is that what you mean by on and off? Like it would sort of come and go?
Yeah, there were there'd be somebody, and then I'd be like, oh, that, that's kind of that was a one-time thing. I did it. It's out of my system. You kind of, bury it down deeper.
And these are
like, that wasn't what I thought it was.
As far as like hookups?
I thought that.
Like hookups or feelings or?
Yeah, just the hook. I was like, all right, I did it. That wasn't what I thought it would be. And maybe it's out of my system. And then, months go by and then it happens again. And you're like, whoa, I thought I was done with this. And then no. And it's just kind of been that revolving door, which, adds to the bizarreness. Right.
And I'd have to imagine if it's, if this is the style by which you're experimenting, these aren't like long-term relationships, it sounds like. I might be wrong.
No, none of them have really been long-term. There was this one event that happened that I had never, and if you don't want to hear the story, you can just cut me off at that point. But the longest term that I had, been involved with another guy was actually somebody I had met online, but never met them on person.
Uh-huh.
And we talked for a year, and it was insane how crazy it was. But that was the longest thing that had ever happened, with another guy in that aspect.
And you never met this guy in person?
I never met him in person.
Wow. And so what is it? You mentioned that you were raised in a religious family. Is it that? Is it just societal pressure in general? Is it the fact that it's going to be a life change? What is it that's making you hang back? Man, oh man, am I glad we stopped talking about Mount Rushmore and the Grand Canyon, because this is a much bigger and more important thing to me. That's awesome. What's holding you back? I bet that's a question a lot of us have been thinking. I'm excited to hear the answer. I bet you are too. We'll get to it right after these ads. Got these promo codes on there. When you use them, it really helps us out, and we'll be back with more phone call right after this. You want to feel more well-rested every day? Who doesn't? Everybody needs to feel more well-rested. Upgrade your nightly routine with Brooklinen. Brooklinen are fantastic sheets. I got them. I got the pillowcases. I got the sheets. Even got a duvet cover. And they're all amazing. They're all amazing. You just sleep a little better when you have some product with some thought put into it. Named the winner of the Best of Online Bedding category by Good Housekeeping, Brooklinen's the fastest growing bedding brand in the world, boasting over 20,000 five-star reviews. Versatile colors and patterns. This is true. You go, you mix and match Brooklinen sheets, complement your decor. It's fun. Me and my wife, we sat down, we did it together. It was fun. It was a fun family activity. Unlike most bedding that's marked up as much as 300%, no unnecessary markups and fees with Brooklinen. This is luxury bedding underpriced. Try these sheets today. My Brooklinen sheets are the best, most comfortable sheets I've slept on. Brooklinen.com has an exclusive offer just for my listeners. Get $20 off and free shipping when you use promo code BEAUTIFUL at Brooklinen.com. Brooklinen is so confident that they offer a risk-free 60-night satisfaction guarantee and a lifetime warranty on all their sheets and comforters. The only way to get that $20 off and free shipping, use promo code BEAUTIFUL at Brooklinen.com. That's BROOKLINEN.com. Talkspace.com, promo code BEAUTIFUL, Brooklinen. These are the best sheets ever. Today's show is sponsored by Talkspace, the online therapy company that lets you message a licensed therapist from anywhere at any time. Can't imagine fitting anything else into your life, right? You're already so busy. Days are so packed. Well, with Talkspace, therapy's as easy as sending your therapist a message. You get something off your chest whenever you need to. Talk about everyday challenges at work or at home, or just chat about life. You're not going to have to commute anywhere. You don't even have to leave your office. Nobody's going to judge you. All you need is a computer with an internet connection or the Talkspace mobile app, and you can improve your mental health. Remember that therapy doesn't have to be melodramatic, venting innermost thoughts, digging into childhood memories. No, it's practical. It's about everyday strategies for stress management, helping you live a happier life. Having a therapist simply provides you a designated person for you to talk to who's trained to listen and help you make positive changes. And the Talkspace platform has over 2,000 licensed therapists who are experienced in addressing life changes we all face. To match with a perfect therapist for a fraction of the price of traditional therapy, go to Talkspace.com/beautiful. Use the code BEAUTIFUL. You get $45 off your first month, and you show your support for this show. That's beautiful at Talkspace.com/beautiful. Thank you again to all of our advertisers who help us bring this show to the world. Now let's get back to the phone call. I mean, you mentioned that you were raised in a religious family. Is it that? Is it just societal pressure in general? Is it the fact that it's going to be a life change? What is it that's making you hang back?
I really think it is just kind of a life change because it's just, I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, especially guys who are gay, because typically guys are like, oh, no, I think I'm bi at first. And then, I feel like at least all my gay friends are like, oh, that's just a stop on the way to, being gay. and I'm just like, well, when at least in my position, I've, being with guys and girls, I've just been like, no, I really think, a person is bisexual and can be. And I feel like that's the struggle I've been in between, like these last few years of my life, am I bi or am I gay? And, if I come out, am I going to come out as gay or am I going to come out as bi? And,
right.
Yeah, it's really more of that lifestyle change, I guess.
I get that, because that is the thing, right? I've read a lot about that, about the bisexual community. From what I've read, it's not the easiest, because they don't. I've read articles. They're not necessarily accepted as part of the queer community so easily. Sometimes they take some shit from what I've read as people being like, you're half in, half out, or you just kind of want it your way. You get to play straight if you want to date someone. Like if you're a case you want to date a female, you're not part of it. So I get that must be confusing. I have to say it must be. The older I get, the more I'm just becoming the opinion. The more I'm just coming to the opinion of I wonder if any of this is real. I wonder if any of these classifications are real myself. I wonder, I know, right? There's people who, there's days, I'm sure there's people where they wake up on Monday and they're into one thing, and they wake up on Tuesday and they're into a totally different thing. And we got to put a label on it, and it just causes all this stress. What's the label? What's that mean? I would have to imagine we have to be approaching a world that's a little bit more just like, hey, who are you? What are you feeling in your gut? Is it going to hurt you? Is it going to hurt anybody else? If not, act on your desires. God damn it. The unacted upon desire is an insidious thing. This idea that you have to hide from who you are is an insidious thing. And if this conversation leads to anything, if this is the first step in you telling people in your real life, I'll say the thing that I'm most excited about being a part of this is that idea that you have to hide it from yourself, from other people. That'll eat you up. And I'm happy to hear that those days are coming to an end for you. Because you're 25 and you still get...
I'm 25. I made a deal with myself a year ago.
Well, look, you gotta, right? Because that is young enough that you can still have a few years where you can just be completely carefree and irresponsible in the way everybody in the early 20s is. But you're also getting to that point where we probably got to start thinking about, well, where's the 401k going to come in? And when is my, do I have insurance in a couple of years? So the real world's coming, but you got a couple of years where you can still be young. And God damn it, do I hope you just come out and embrace it and have as much fun in that stretch as you can. Because what a regret it would be.
I know, and that
give away the
that guy I told you I talked to for a year. Met online. He is actually he was a Canadian. He's a little bit older than me. He is 28, and he was still in the closet as well, which is why we, connected so well and started talking. I mean, it literally happened the way we met, the way how the deep caverns of the internet and all these, chat rooms you can talk to anonymously, we met on there and ended up giving him a phone call, and we just talked on Christmas Eve 2 years ago and just hit it off. Didn't say any, it was kind of like this, and not, beautiful anonymous. We just told each other our life stories and where we were at. And, with this whole being young thing, I mean, he was 27 at the time, and he was like, don't be like me and wait so long and you'll regret it. And, I learned a lot from him.
Yeah. That conversation must have been a weight off the shoulders, huh?
Yeah, I know. And eventually he did end up coming out to his family and his friends. And I just remember sending him this big, long message about how proud I was of him and how, there's so many people that I wish they could do that. And I'm so happy for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you followed up? Did you hear? Did it go well?
It did go well, and it's, I don't know how cliche it sounds, at least with some of my friends and in the movies anyway, when people come out, everybody's like, oh, we knew, or we always knew. His family was kind of like, yeah, we figured. And I was like, I kind of hate that response in a way.
Sure.
But, it shows just how, humans are perceptive to that. And if a person's in denial from that, or your loved ones, of course, are going to see that something's holding you back, most likely.
Yeah.
And if they truly care about you, they know.
Yeah.
And his family was kind of like that, which I was glad, and they were, accepting of it, and I was really happy for him.
So, do you have a plan? Do you know who you'd like to tell first?
I do. And I think, my parents are obviously at the top of my list, especially my mom. She just means the world to me. And, she deserves to know first. And she's kind of that person. I'm just like, she's probably going to be like, oh, I knew. I feel like that might happen. I don't know. It's not like I'm super flamboyant. You know what I mean? Clearly people don't know that about me, because I'm not saying, gay people, sound a certain way or act a certain way, but, I think just deep down she might be like, I had a feeling he might be.
Yeah. And why you said that bums you out? Is it, I would bet it's like, well, first of all, if you knew, why didn't you make me feel more okay about it? Is that part of it? Of like, if you knew, why weren't we talking about this? You're gonna help me. It's a stressful thing.
Yeah, I don't even know how to, because I've never talked to anybody about this before. So, I guess you're the first one I'm bouncing this off of. I feel like if I win and the time comes and I, tell them, I don't think they're going to be, super, get out of the house. We never want to talk to you again. I don't think it'll be anything like that. I just see it going a direction where like, why didn't you tell us this for a long time, blah, blah, blah. And, I really don't know what's going to happen when I tell them, because they're, my parents, I'm close, they're very supportive. And all that. I really can't predict what's going to happen.
What part of the country are you in? You don't have to say like a specific town or state if you don't want, but just a region.
The Midwest.
Okay.
Is where I'm at. And
could be worse. Could be worse.
Yeah, could be worse.
Could be better. Could be worse.
Yeah. Which is why I travel a lot to, see the world.
I would imagine, right? Yeah, deep south. I'd go deep south is harder than the Midwest. Might be next. I don't know. Who knows?
I'm like literally, I'd say right in the middle of the Midwest.
Yeah.
So where I grew up, though, I mean, I don't live like where I grew up anymore.
Oh, you don't?
Because I definitely live in an area. I grew up in an area where racism was definitely a thing. Homosexuality was big no, that kind of thing. But I mean, it's 2018 and times have changed, so it's kind of just like those, I guess, foundations that where I grew up, those are still kind of there, within the people that stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
But, they're definitely more progressive and accepting than what they used to be. And, and that's why people like me grow up and get out of there.
I was going to say, I'm going to go on record and say, if the people in your hometown are hanging on to that shit, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Enjoy the hometown, everybody. Bye-bye.
And it's so sad because it's such a beautiful place, scenery-wise, and it's just like, I would never raise my kids here.
Yeah. Well, New York is often disgusting scenery-wise, but values, I think we got some good ones when you get underneath all the horrible ways people treat each other on the surface. I think that's a very fair summation, New York. I'm proud of you. Dude. I think this is cool.
Thank you.
I think it sounds to me like you're ready to go for it. It sounds to me like you thought long and hard about it. I bet you're going to have a real happy life, and I'm glad you still got some time. I'm glad you still got some time to be young and make mistakes and go for it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So have you had a dating life that people have seen? Like, have you dated women and your friends and family are familiar with?
I've only have dated women up to this point, and those have been actually longer lasting. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't do anything. I'm really more of an oriented long-term person, and those have all been like, at least, a year, that kind of thing.
Wow.
And dated some great women, and, the ones that haven't worked out, more or less, it's been just kind of a, I don't know if it goes down to that deep-rooted, like, I don't think this is who I am, or, what if I tell them, this secret about me and they're not okay with it, then that kind of just blows everything up anyway.
Yeah. Of course. Now, you said you still... Do you think you had mentioned that you still are attracted to women on some level, bi, gay, not sure. I would have to imagine there's something to be said for, you kind of need to put all those cards on the table so you can start figuring out exactly where you lie. I would have to think, right?
Right.
Like, you can't have a full... I would have to imagine there's something to be said for, like, oh, well, I am attracted to women. Maybe I just date women. But there's also something to be said for, well, if there's this whole unfulfilled part of my life, if there's all these desires or instincts that I have that I'm stuffing down, how am I ever going to be totally comfortable? Even if you do wind up long-term with a woman, how are you going to be long-term comfortable with that if you don't just go figure this stuff out without pressure, without fear, without any of it? Gotta give young people permission to just figure themselves out without worrying about what people from prior generations or what the Bible says. Just let them figure themselves out. man.
And that's the revolving door, I keep going through, because every time, I get those thoughts, and it's just like, well, maybe these thoughts keep coming back for a reason. So I completely agree. And then that's why, when I turned 25, I was like, hey, now or never, we got to start,
Yeah, you
soul-searching.
drive yourself nuts. When you say these thoughts, do you mean just like consistent, like, oh, wait, I'm attracted to that guy. Okay, I got a crush on the guy again. Yep. Those are these thoughts.
Exactly.
And have you gone online? Have you used any of the apps? These are, I was married before the apps became a big thing, but I know that there's a thriving app scene out there. Your Grinders and whatnot. A few others.
Oh, God, Grindr.
I believe there's
horror stories from Grindr.
I've heard horror stories as well from many friends. I believe there's one called Scruff that I have some friends on. Have you tried Scruff? Have we checked out Scruff?
I have looked into it, yes, but fun fact about me is I really don't do social media and that kind of thing. Other than, that one person I met in Canada that one time, but that was like 2 years ago. Like, I used to have like Twitter and Facebook way back when, and I was about halfway through college. And then I just woke up one day and I was like sick of scrolling. And like, I'd spend 3 hours in bed just scrolling through Facebook, then scrolling through Twitter. I had Instagram for like 4 minutes, and it was like, I can't do this. Yeah. So, way back when Tinder, first came out, the infamous Tinder, you had to have a Facebook account to get on there. And of course, I had already given up Facebook, and I was like, oh, well, not meant to be. So, and Bumble was the same way. So I was just like, oh, it's definitely not meant to be. But now I hear you don't have to have those things to get on.
Oh, you don't? See, my buddy I go on the road with, he's single. And he's on Tinder and Bumble. And man, I tell you, if I was married before those were really things, those were just getting off the ground when I got married, I would have been the king of Tinder. If Jared and Harry, can you imagine if I was single and on Tinder in Brooklyn, what my life would be like? It would be game over. The king of Brooklyn. Anyway, hey, I want to let you know something that Jared just told me that I can share.
Okay.
Which might, because it's funny. The viewers of this, or the listeners rather, listeners of the show have come to know Jared, and they joke around about Jared. I mean, we haven't talked about Jared's personal life. He's let me know that I can tell you he met his boyfriend of 5 years on Grindr. So there's something encouraging. That's not a Grindr horror story.
A good story.
Look at that.
Good story.
Go on Grindr, meet somebody, get a 5-year relationship out of it. How's about that?
Well, there's still. It's definitely on, obviously I told myself if I ever do get those, it would be when, I can officially check mark the box interested in, men and women. It's
time to go for it. It is time to live. I tell you, 38 years old, North Jersey, we didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about it in high school. And there's a couple kids I went to high school with. 2 in particular I'm thinking of. One was in my grade. One was a little brother of a good friend of mine. And they were just really shy kids. And they seemed shy and lonely. And I never thought about their sexuality because we didn't think about it then in the late 80s, early 90s. I graduated high school in 1998. The conversation started, I think, a little bit after that. And I tell you, I'm Facebook friends with both these guys now. And I'm not close. I don't catch up with them. I'm not very close with them. But I see that they are both out of the closet, and they are both in pictures with their guys, and they look so happy. And one of them just adopted a kid.
That's awesome.
They look so relaxed and so happy. And I just remember them being so shy and nervous, these 2 guys in particular. And I see those pictures, and I smile, and I laugh. And anybody who would see a young person happy and judge it, I would love to personally walk up and give them a piece of my mind. Because if you see someone else happy with who they are, and that makes you mad or that makes you uncomfortable, we're in 2018. That's on that person. That's not on you. Anybody, if you come out of the closet and anyone gives you a hard time, I'm telling you, remember my voice in your head right now. That person is the asshole. They got something wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing. There's nothing. Wherever it lands. Guys, girls, wherever it lands. If it winds up that you're bi and that makes it tough, fine. If it winds up that you're gay and that it's something that as you get more and more comfortable with, that you land there and go, okay, I'm comfortable with this being the base of my reality now. Anybody has a problem with any of it, on any side, fuck them. No thanks. You cannot judge people for who they are. I always say, this is one of the transformative things in my life when I realized I used to be such a fucking cynic and I used to be a negative person because I was scared. I was so scared and I used to be very nervous and cynical. And then I realized one day, you just can't judge people for the things they don't decide. You can't judge someone for being poor when they're born into it. You can't judge someone for being the ethnicity that they are. You can't judge somebody for being born in the area of the world where they're born in. You cannot judge people for their sexuality. It's not a choice. It's not a choice. I think you guys can hear it. I really meant that one. Let's judge less. Let's just judge each other less. Certain things are not a choice. Don't judge them. You know what is a choice is the products and services you choose to buy in a capitalist society. We have ads on this show. Use them, check them out, listen to them. We got the promo codes on there. That's what when I say use them, I mean the promo codes. It helps the show when you do. What a silly thing that I have to drop ads, but I do. And I'm lucky I get to. We'll be back with more phone call just after this. Hiring used to be hard. You got multiple job sites, you got stacks of resumes, very confusing review process, right? But today, hiring can be easy, and you only have to go to one place to get it done. ZipRecruiter.com/beautiful. ZipRecruiter sends your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards, but they don't stop there. They got a powerful matching technology. They use it. ZipRecruiter scans thousands of resumes to help you find people with the right experience and invites them to apply to your job. As applications come in, ZipRecruiter analyzes them, spotlights the top candidates so you never miss a great match. ZipRecruiter is so effective that 80% of employers get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. With results like that, it's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the highest rated hiring site in America. And right now, my listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/beautiful. That's ZipRecruiter.com/BEAUTIFUL. ZipRecruiter.com/beautiful. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Thanks to everybody who sponsors this show and helps me bring it to the world. Now let's finish off the phone call. You can't judge somebody for being born in the area of the world where they're born in. You cannot judge people for their sexuality. It's not a choice. It's not a choice.
Yeah, and that's basically the awakening I had, at the end of high school, because, you're right. I was, cynical and negative, and, it just, love is love.
Absolutely.
and I'm just like, and that's the thing, like you said, whoever I end up, I'm just glad I can tell somebody this, I don't know who I'll end up with, but I think it's awesome, and why I wanted to get on the show. I think it's a beautiful thing that those opportunities are like there for me.
They absolutely
even though
are.
there's people in my life who don't see it that way, and hopefully somebody listening to the show, agrees and is doing the same thing somewhere.
Here's the thing. I hope one of the great compliments I ever had on my work, someone said about my TV show once. A friend of mine who is non-binary said, your show is a place where I would have felt comfortable hanging out as a queer kid. And we've had people come out of the closet live on my TV show. It's one of the things I am by far most proud of, because you gotta just be yourself. You gotta let people be themselves. You say there's people who are gonna have a problem with it. You said you don't think your parents are gonna react poorly. What is the fear? What is the impediment at this point? What's the last hurdle that you're committed to getting over this coming month?
I really can't put a finger on it. I just don't know if it's, the act of once you put it out in the universe, it's there, and then, because I really don't know how they'll react. They could take it super negatively. I don't think they will, but people process things different ways.
Yeah. Do you know how you're going to say it? Do you know what you're going to say? I'm sure you've sat and thought about it.
I mean, at this point, I don't know. My dad's a very laid back person. So I feel like he's just going to be, you know how country people are. I feel like he's just going to be like, okay. My mom might have a few more. She's a woman of very many opinions. So I'm not sure what she'll have to say about it. I'm sure I just feel like she'll want a lot of answers, which, you know, I would be perfectly fine with telling her.
And you seem like such a grounded, well-spoken person. You seem like you got it. You seem like you got it together. Would you say, how would you say this has affected you? Like, are you a happy person? Do you think you're as happy as you can be, or is this holding you back?
I do think I can be happier, you know, in that aspect of my life, because, you know, I'm getting to the age now of, oh, who are you dating? Or, you know, I'm a teacher. I have 2 jobs. I'm a teacher in one of my jobs. And, you know, my kids are, you know, I walk into class one day and my kids are like, hey, we created you an eHarmony account. And I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? I was like, stop what you're doing.
These kids are trying to help.
And I mean, it's just one of those things to where, you know, I do a lot with my life. I'm very involved in my community, and like I said, I have 2 jobs. You know, I just have a lot of different friend groups, you know, and some of them cross over into each other and some of them don't at all. And, you know, the comfortable thing is with my life, you know, I have some friend groups who, you know this, you know, life, you know, this kind of bisexual lifestyle kind of, you know, it's, you know, I told you, like, you know, college was where things happened. You know, there'd be some, you know, parties we'd go to, and then, you know, next thing you know, everybody's making out with each other, and it's just like, oh, we're that close to each other, we can do that, you know, to where some friend groups, you know, would hold up a cross with their fingers at me if I ever told them a crazy story like that.
So you had your friends who you partied with in college. You had the more hippie vibe, the more free and easy vibe. That's good. You got those people.
It blows my mind sometimes, like, because I really do. Like, I have, you know, my friends from home, you know, I have my friends from college, I have my teammates, because I did sports in college, I have that friend group, and then now I have my education friends, and now I have, you know, I work at a hospital too, so I have my hospital friend, you know, I just have all these different groups of people, and, you know, some are definitely more open-minded than others, which has been good for me. That has kept me somewhat sane, you know, these past few years.
And you know what? You sound like you're someone who's so great at making friends, that's not going to stop. And if any of these friends walk away, you got more than enough friends to replace them. And I bet by next June, you're going to have your other friends who you can go to the Pride events with, and that'll be your next crew of friends. And I'm psyched about it.
I think so.
And I hope there's other people out there listening right now who maybe have these same sort of feelings, who are hearing you sort them out, who feel less alone right now. You're doing a service for the people like you who are in the same situation as you. I think that's beautiful. And most of all, there's a lot of parents that listen to this show and a lot of moms that listen to this show. And I bet there are a whole bunch of them right now whose hearts are hurting because they know that if their kid ever came to them and said, hey, Ma, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not totally straight, I bet they'd just go, okay, what do you want for dinner? Because that's really the only appropriate response. It's really the only response in 2018 that matters. And I hope there's parents maybe hearing this who are going, you know, if my kid ever said something like that to me, I'm going to make sure they know that this should be easy and not hard. And I hope there's other people listening who maybe go, I've been sitting on some feelings. I'm going to go feel those feelings and give myself permission to do it. Because it's a burden, right? It's a burden to hang on to all this bullshit.
And I just, you know, when I'm teaching and, you know, I'm telling my kids to be who they are. You know what I mean? You know, be who you are and, you know, stand up for what you believe in. Love is love. And then, I think it's just the last piece of the puzzle I need to happen.
Is being a teacher one? I would guess, is that one of the concerns? Because then you get the classic closed-minded parents who are like, I don't want my kids around.
Where I teach, it's not really a problem. I think my students would be kind of shocked just in the fact that I really think their first comment would be like, why didn't you tell us? Which is awesome because the kids I have are really, I mean, they are just, I don't know if it's so much with the generation now that, we say is horrible, but there's a lot of good in the generation that at least I'm teaching. I mean, I teach high school, so I got all kids of, all 4 grades there. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there are still some really good kids that are just as open-minded and accepting. And with them, I mean, it's just one of those things. I want to do it so I can be more honest with them.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You're someone who likes to do things in the service of others. And I think that's what a beautiful thing to even think of this very pronounced sort of hurdle that you're getting over, to think of that. That's beautiful to hear that one of the motivators is you want to do that to set a good example and to be more honest with others. Are there any things you've wanted to do that you've been unable to do, that you're looking forward to doing once you put this all out there?
Really just being, I guess to phrase it, more public with it. I mean, it's kind of one of those things you asked me a little bit ago, are you dating? I mean, that's kind of been, I haven't been in a relationship in over 2 years now. It's probably been a little over 2 years. Mm-hmm. And, that's, kind of one of the things that's holding me back, Yeah. Because I'm just like, you need to figure your own shit out first.
Right. Right.
And because I don't want to putting somebody in that position, because I dated this one girl, who her last 2 boyfriends ended up being gay, and I was like, oh God. I was like, here comes number 3 for you. Here comes number 3 for you.
So as soon as she started saying it, you were like, fuck.
Oh, it was insane. I was like, you did not just say that. And then the universe is crazy, as you know, so you want to know something even more crazy? It turns out my ex-girlfriend is now dating the brother of one of my students that I have, and I'm just like, oh God. Like, won't that be a day when you...
Hey, I was saying when I was in high school, nobody came out in high school. They waited till college or later. Now I think high school kids do. Do you have any students who are out of the closet?
Yeah, I do have, this past year I had 2 kids actually come out, which is really awesome for them because, I mean, they're both really young. They still got, 1 or 2 years left of high school. And, it's not like they came out to me, but, you always hear kids talking amongst themselves and, at sports events, you just hear a lot of gossip and all this. And, I think it, of course it makes me think like, wow, like I can't imagine being that brave, for a guy who wants to come to school and paint his fingernails and be like, yep, like this is me now. I'm just like, you rock. Like, tell me if anybody bugs you because I'll, take care of them.
That's great. That's great. And then you're going to come out because you promised yourself, and you're starting that process right here on Beautiful Anonymous. And then the next kid that comes out is going to know, I got somebody who's got my back. I got somebody else who's got my back. That's awesome. That's awesome. Would you say you've ever been in love? Have you been in love before? Or is this something that you can't be certain of until you explore yourself fully?
Yeah, that's such a great question, isn't it?
Why, thank you.
I really don't. I don't know. I always think love is changing, and I don't know. One of the things that I keep blowing my own mind with through every year that I get older, I don't know, and you may be going through it too. Like, have you ever been like, so like when I was 18, getting ready to graduate high school, I was like, this is who I am. This is me. I know exactly what I want. These are my goals, blah, blah, blah. And then a year goes by and you're 19 and so much has changed. And you're like, man, that's not what I wanted at all. This isn't who I am. This is what I want. This is who I am. And it like changes with that every year. And like, I'm 25 and I just keep thinking back, like, how dumb were you at 21 thinking you knew everything you wanted?
Yeah.
And like, you still keep changing.
That never goes
so,
away
like,
in my experience. 38 years
does.
old. 38 years old. And I'm like, maybe I don't want to do comedy. I'm 38. I'm 38. I've been doing it since I was 19. That's half my life. I'm like, maybe I should do something else. Never stops.
And so like, I find myself, like, because I've been in relationships where I'm just like, oh, I'm going to marry this girl. This is perfect. We're going to have this many kids. And then you're just like, wait, no, this is not what I wanted. Kind of like a jumping ship thing. And I feel like with my relationships, they kind of all started like, oh, this is good. This is new. There's, I don't know, possibility here. And then, a year into it, it's kind of just like, I don't know if it's just the reality that sits in or it's just unaddressed, internal issues or, emotions that I have where I'm just like, I don't think this is the person who I thought I was. And then it changes. So I think I've, felt love for people that I've been in a relationship with, but I don't know, like in love. I'm kind of like that hopeless romantic where I'm just like, the love will be when love sticks. I don't know. I probably butchered that with how I'm trying to mean that.
No, I think that's cool. Do you think was there any part of you that was, this is a reach, the guy that you were leaning on, was he more of a confidant or was there a part of you that was like, I'm into this guy? Was there love there?
I was really, really into it. I really was. But I never really said that to him.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. Why'd you guys lose touch?
Well, after he came out, he was kind of already, he was doing the dating and everything, anyways, even though he wasn't like officially out to his family and friends, he was going on dates and, it'd be kind of one of those things where we talk at night. He'd tell me how his date went. He'd ask me, what should I wear? Like, I don't think I like this person, and we just talk about that. And, when you do that and you share all these things and, I kind of obviously got attached. And when he came out, we quit talking back in this past March. And it was kind of one of those things where he was like going on a date and he was kind of I guess he had been serious with a guy, gone on a few dates, and he was like, I don't think you and I should keep talking if I'm going to try to make this work. And then of course me at that point, it had been over a year since we'd been talking at that point. And I kind of took it a little personal, but I also was like, you're right. I'm like, I'm not even out yet. So why am I getting mad? And I kind of felt bad because I was like, yeah, you deserve to be with somebody who's not afraid to be who they were. So I kind of like punished myself. And I was like, all right. I'm like, yeah, we should probably quit talking all this, blah, blah, blah. And so we stopped.
Yeah. Are you going to, not in an effort to rekindle any friendship or any feelings, but are you going to let him know that you came out?
I told myself I was not going to contact him because he did. I mean, I sent him a big message, after, I was like, I understand, I was like, and then he tried to reach out to me. He tried to get a hold of me, and I was just like, no. I'm like, I made this deal with myself. I'm always making deals with myself. I was like, I will not talk to him until I am out. So
Yeah.
that is my plan anyway, to be like, if I can't be honest with myself, I don't want to waste his time, and who knows what would even happen because he lives in Canada.
Right.
So,
Right.
it's like,
I'm sure it'll mean a lot to him just to know that you went for it. I would have to imagine it'll just be a good thing to know.
I do feel like I would like him to know, be like, hey, thanks for being there.
Yeah.
I did it. Thanks for, making me not scared.
Yeah. Do you have any role models? Do you have any like public? Like, I know for me, I got to tell you, you might still be off Facebook, it sounds like, but every once in a while the video of Ellen Page coming out pops up and I shed a tear every time. Or that video of the kid. Everybody's going to know what I'm talking about. Everybody who's on Facebook is going to know that punk rock teenager who comes out to his mom, and his mom's seems just like a regular Midwestern lady, and he's so scared and he's crying, and she's like, no, I know. I've been waiting for you to tell me. What are you doing? I cry because the world has a lot more love than it used to. It seems so. You read the news and there's so much hate, but man, is there also just more love? Anybody jump out? Anybody inspire you to be like, I'm gonna go for it. Fuck it.
I mean, publicly, I'm all about. You're into comedy and stuff, so I don't know how you feel about. I'm off social media, but I try as much as I can to follow, what Chelsea Handler's been doing. Do you follow Chelsea Handler at all?
I know. Chelsea's old show. I haven't caught up on the Netflix show. The old show I liked, and I liked how many comics were getting opportunities from it, for sure. A few people launched their careers from that show.
The one she did on Netflix was actually really, obviously, in light of recent events, it had a more political twist on it. She brought in a lot of, Congress people and people who were running for Senate and all this. And she's always advocating for rights of everybody. It doesn't matter your race, ethnicity, sexual orientation. And, she even is taking time off from Netflix to travel and, be speaking on campuses about, your vote does matter and all this stuff. And in the past few years, I've always liked her. Even in high school, I loved her. But just recently, she's really been I've been like, yes, you are awesome, taking time out of your schedule.
That's awesome. We got to wrap things up. The bell's about to go off. I want to reiterate to you that I'm so flattered that you shared this with me. I know how scary this can be, let alone on a platform where you know that a lot of people are listening to it. But I tell you, there's probably a lot of people who are scared and aren't as ready as you are, and I bet they're a little more ready because they heard you. And I bet there's a lot of people in families who are going to think a little bit differently about their brother or their sister or their kid when their kid decides to have a talk with them. I think it's really cool, and I'm so lucky to be a part of it. I think you're going to come out.
Thank you for listening to it.
It's my pleasure.
It means so much.
I think you're going to come out. I think you're going to feel free to have fun. Let your guard down. Go be with who you want to be in public. Go out on a date. Sit outside on the sidewalk across from the person you want to, and don't worry about who's watching. And just feel that love and let it be true. And don't apologize for it. And it can be in real life. It doesn't just have to be on the internet anymore. Or if it is, I'm not going to, who cares? I'm not judging that either. But you're going to go out. You're still young. You're going to have so much fun. And it's going to be so much easier than you think. And I'm so excited for you because you're giving yourself the chance to go do that. And I want to send all my love your way. You crying?
That just got me choked up, Chris.
Right at the end. I'm good at my job. I'm good at my job. So much good luck to you. So much love to you.
Thank you. Well, I always said, you know what I said if I ever got on the show?
What's that?
I said I'd get a tattoo of the episode number.
Caller. As soon as we disconnected, I tell you, I turned to Jared and Harry and I said, I hope we get a follow-up from that caller. You don't have to do it publicly, but let us know how it goes. I believe this is episode 120. Maybe someday I'll meet you out there. Maybe I'll be in your town and I'll do a show, and afterwards you come up and show me the 120 tattoo. And I tell you, I'll probably burst out crying because I'll be so happy. Happy for you. Happy for what you're about to commence. I hope it goes so well. I hope it goes easy. And if anybody judges it for you for it, well, I'm not going to be one of those people. You come to New York City. We won't judge you here or many of the other places in this world. We will not be judged. You're loved. You're free to be yourself. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I'll stop rambling now. Thank you for trusting me with that story. And thank you for calling. Thank you to Jared as always, for being in the booth. And also, I was joking with Jared. I think you guys know I have a computer up here where Jared can send me questions. And as you heard during the call, Jared said, hey, put this out here. It'll help. And I thought that was so cool, too. Thank you, Jared O'Connell. Thank you to Harry Nelson. Thank you, Shellshag, for the music. Thanks to Reverend John Delore. Thanks, Greta Cohn, for building the show. ChrisGeth.com is my website. I got dates. I'm going out on the road, not just America anymore, all over America, but also Canada and even London. ChrisGeth.com for the ticket links. You want to help Beautiful Anonymous, you go on Apple Podcasts, rate, review, subscribe. It really does help a lot. I'm lucky I get to do this. I'll see you guys next time.
Kiss me face to face.
Next time on Beautiful Anonymous, someone who doesn't have too much time to spare tells us about many crazy aspects of their life.
Hi, is this Chris?
This is Chris.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. I just took a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class, 7:30 a.m. Great way to start the day, getting beat up. Feeling really good and awake and alive.
That was not my idea of a great morning.
Well, I have a lot of self-hatred issues. How are you?
Well, I am kind of living my own version of Orange is the New Black. On Monday, my parents and I are taking a road trip, which will end with me turning myself into federal prison for 46 months.
I need to know everything about this. And right off the bat, let me say, I imagine this isn't the easiest thing to talk about, so thanks for opening up. That's next time on Beautiful Anonymous. Hey everybody, it's Chris. As you've probably heard, got a new series, Beautiful Follow-Ups. We're following up with some of the all-time great callers from the history of this show. Here's me saying hello to a bunch of them.
Thank you for following up with Beautiful Anonymous.
Hey, Geth.
Hello, old friend. Hello?
Hello, this is...
I'm not supposed to know that.
It's good to hear your voice, Chris. I'm glad to be able to do this with you.
Hey, it's Gethard.
Hey, Gethard. Good to hear from you.
Hey, is this the Puppet Master?
This is the Puppet Master. How are you?
Hey, this is Gethard.
Chris Gethard, how are you?
Beautiful Follow-Ups. Come join me on Stitcher Premium. We'll all catch up with some old friends together. And guess what? You get a free month if you go to StitcherPremium.com/stories. Use the code STORIES.
Oh baby, come back. Oh baby, come back. It's not the same since you left.
Hey, this is Arnie from the comedy podcast Hello from the Magic Tavern, a chat show I host from the magical land of Foon with my co-hosts
Usador, the Blue Wizard,
and Chunt, the Shapeshifter.
Most weeks we interview adventurers,
wedding planners,
ambulatory trees.
But this week we have a special episode.
I am so excited to learn about the Earth lore contained in Pride and Prejudice.
We're going to do a book club of Pride and Prejudice.
And you said this is a well-loved book on Earth, right?
Yeah, it's one of those books that people love or were forced to read, or more likely it's one of those I'm gonna get to it.
And some of our most beloved guests are returning to read the book with us and enjoy some drinks and food over book club.
We have Flower, we have Crom the Barbarian,
and Germ.
You know who they are.
Maybe you don't give a crap about what an academic thinks about Jane Austen, but don't you want to know what a wizard and a badger think about it?
Not enough spells.
Not enough grubs.
Not enough sword fights.
Whether you love Pride and Prejudice or have no interest in reading it and just want to listen to a book club go really off off the rails, you'll enjoy this week's Hello from the Magic Tavern.
We shall defeat this book!